Mr. Sudhakara Rao, welcome to Modern Classics TV at AICON Conference. Thank you for your valuable time and thank you for being here. Could you please tell our viewers about your company and about yourself and how do you see the industry, current scenario of the industry?
My name is Sudhakara Rao. I worked about 35 years in the oil industry and retired as Executive Director in 2016. Currently, I am country head for GP Global Group, India. GP Global is a Dubai-based company with interest in trading of all the components of barrel other than complete barrel. They also have interest in other areas like shipping, trading in metals. They have 3 storage terminals, one in Fujairah, one in Hamaria, and the third one in a place called Pipavav in India. We also deal with retailing in Africa, in Kenya. We got 200 retail outlets there. The group's last year turnover was close to $3.5 billion. We have 7 ships of our own for transporting of petroleum fuels, predominantly the bottoms. As far as the Indian business is concerned, we have got about 4 verticals in India. The first one is we operate a oil terminal in Pipavav, which has got provision to store all class of products A, B, C. It is a 250,000 tons capacity terminal, which is in Gujarat. The second line of business in India is we have a lubricating oil company by the name GPPL. In 2012, the group has acquired a company called SA Petroleum. We are into all automotive as well as industrial lubricants, and we are the leading marketers of rubber processing oils after the public sector oil companies. The other line of business we have in India is bitumen. We are one of the largest importers of bitumen. Last year we have sold close to 1.5 lakhs of bitumen tons. We operate, bring, store and sell bitumen in India from Pipavav, from Karwar, from Haldia and other places in India. We are one of the largest players in bitumen. Our fourth line of business, where we are not very active, but the line of business is coal. We bring, store and sell coal in East Coast. Other than that, the group is also involved into other CSR activities like operating schools and things like that. Apart from that, I have an experience in oil industry for about 35 years in HPCL, where I was before retirement handling international trade, purchase of crude oil and marketing of petroleum products. If you want anything else to know about oil industry, I will be glad to speak about it.
Sir, what is the current scenario of petroleum and petrochemical industry and how do you see the growth happening in the industry?
In India, we have got approximately 150 million metric tons of petroleum product demand. Our refining capacity is about close to 200 million metric tons, out of which, of course, about 27 million metric tons of Reliance export-oriented unit. The growth of petroleum products in India has been varied for different products. Predominantly, we have diesel as the main component of the sales, which is close to 80 million metric ton, and that product has been growing at 4% per annum. Generally, it is estimated that the petroleum product demand grows approximately at 50% rate of GDP growth. If GDP is growing at 8%, you can expect the petroleum product growth should be about 4% per annum. Our per capita consumption of energy is still one of the lowest in the world. As the economy develops and people start earning more, they will be investing much more into the vehicles, maybe much more into consumption of energy, electrification, which will in turn will bring production into the rural areas. Our consumption of electricity and energy in the rural areas also has been growing in the last few years. So we expect that the petroleum and petroleum products, which are predominantly divided into liquid fuels and the gaseous fuels, would continue to grow at a fairly good rate of 4 to 5% during the next 5 to 10 years. Having said that, one of the biggest drivers of the demand for petroleum products continue to be the vehicle population. As the vehicle population grows, the demand for diesel and petrol will be growing. What we have seen is that there is a tremendous growth of motorcycles in India, and that too there is a trend of higher cc motorcycles from 175 to 200 to 250 to 350 and 500 cc are also coming into India. It is expected that more and more penetration of motorcycles in the rural and suburban areas will continue, which will fuel the growth of motor spirit. The second thing is the demand for naphtha. Naphtha demand has been slightly low for the last 6 months. In fact, naphtha cracks have been on the negative as compared to crude for the last few months. The main reason for this is a lower demand for petrochemical industry across the world. But however, in India, petrochemical demand is fairly on the good side. The petrochemical demand in the Western world has shown a lower requirement, which has resulted in negative cracks for naphtha in the oil industry. The other thing is what we are talking about, fuel oil. Fuel oil and bitumen are the two bottom products of the refining process. Today, fuel oil demand has been healthy in India, but once the IMO comes out with the regulation of reduction of sulfur in fuel oil, we can expect that there will be a lot of change in the fuel oil demand going forward. It is very difficult to replace the existing fuel oil of about 4% sulfur with low sulfur fuel oil, even if the technology that is available with us, or to have a fuel oil sulfur separation on the vessels, which is called the scrubbing. That is also not very practical way of doing. Probably we have to look at fuel oil being replaced by what we call distillates. So there will be a lot of additional demand coming for diesel from 2021 onwards, which will be used into blending into fuel oil for the shipping industry. The demand is estimated to be about 40 million metric tons across the world for additional diesel that would be required to reduce the sulfur content in fuel oil. The other product which is very interesting is bitumen. In India, the PSU oil companies and the private refineries are producing close to 6 million metric tons of bitumen in a year. But there are plans for many of these refineries to upgrade their bottoms. So going forward, the bitumen production may slightly come down. On the other hand, bitumen demand is going up because of road laying that is happening in India, and mainly in the years to come there will be a lot of demand coming out of maintenance of these roads that have been laid in the last few years. The maintenance demand itself will be about 3 million metric tons. So it is expected that the bitumen is going to be a very interesting product in India in future. That's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Sir, what message you want to give it to the industry, and how do you see AICON conference?
See, conferences like this, give us an opportunity to interact with the other members of the industry, with the vendors, with the consumers, and with the community at large who are involved into the marketing of petroleum products. And such conferences definitely bring together new ideas, how to work together in win-win situation where one person has got some resource and the other person has got a demand for the same. And such conferences will always help to get the maximum benefit for the community at large. I do not have any message as such except saying that wish them all the best. Thank you.